Edward, thank you very much for joining us today. What a place to do a podcast, huh?
Absolutely. It's a pleasure being here. I've always wanted to be on the Matthew J podcast. So, you know, it's a big thing.
And it's a beautiful place. We've got the ocean behind us, and yeah, you know, it's a great day. So yeah, looking forward to the next couple of days.
Absolutely. Sibec's always it's a wonderful event. It gives us a chance to really kind of know our, you know, the vendors a little bit better, just to get them to know as people, and it's great for us to build some trust in each other. So right. we always look forward to this event every year.
So what was in particular now coming off the back of the crazy world we're in? What was it that you're coming here to specifically look for?
Really, you know, with COVID, obviously it threw everybody's plans a little bit in the mix, and it made us have to refocus and reorganize what we're doing. So we wanted to come back here and, you know, look at some new forms of equipment, new ways of doing our layouts and designs. We were really having these meetings to figure out how to more efficiently design in smaller spaces moving forward for what we're doing.
How were you affected then? You've got how many facilities? Because you got franchise business and you got your corporate side.
So we've got franchises and we've got licenses. We were fortunate because we're based in the Southeast. So while we had slowdowns, we didn't have the major issues like California and a lot of the northern states did. So we were fortunate there. A lot of our licensees, so we have a franchise and a license model.
Okay. What's the difference between those?
The difference between the two, with the franchise, it's going to be more brick and mortar, A type real estate. With the license model, we go in and we work a lot with like the YMCAs. We've got a great relationship with Good Life Fitness where we come in, we help them design the space, we provide the programming, we provide the training of the coaches, and then from there, they take our product and they run with it. Right. So as far as the franchise and license model, the big difference is in the amount of control that you have over it. Right. The license has a lot more freedom. So part of the reason we went the license route is we were able to work with some really big names and some good players in the industry that we were able to learn from. You know, getting a relationship with Good Life was fantastic for us because that's, you know, one of the most well-respected brands out there. Mm-hmm. So for us, we're really careful with who we pick our licenses because we want to learn from them as much as they can learn from us.
Right. So what have they done up in Canada then with Good Life? Are they putting your sort of functional training HIIT concept within their clubs? Is that how they've done it?
Yeah, so we're seeing that big box. You know, REGYMEN originally started as a licensed concept in big box health clubs. And we looked at the space kind of like Les Mills had. You know, Les Mills did a great job with programming and helping monetize the space. We wanted to take it a step further with HIIT training. So what we do is we go inside of them, we define a good space anywhere from 1,000 to upwards of 3,000 square feet. We lay it out, and then we teach these guys, hey, you might be charging, you know, $29 to $49 for a base membership. Let's go ahead and layer on these extra services to where you can charge $99 to $179 a month. So that's exactly, you know, the route Good Life has taken. We've seen some YMCAs take that route where they're really starting to monetize the HIIT models inside of their big boxes. I kind of equate it to a food court at a mall. Right. You know, you've got a couple of different selections for the members, so they stay engaged a lot longer. Right. For us, we see it helps drive personal training. Personal training helps drive the group fit. So it's been a special experience for us.
Did you have to do what most people have done, is come up with a digital product throughout that period?
We did. When COVID hit, we looked at it and we came up with what's called REGYMEN on the Run. And we had already had a really strong workout format that we work out with a group called Gym Elite. And they designed all of the screens for us and the movement screens. During COVID, we pivoted, we took that and we put it online for virtual workouts. Now, I'm one of the people that does feel as though virtual workouts and virtual fitness is important, but people are rushing back to the brick and mortar for the relationships more than anything else. You know, it's funny, last weekend I was at a bar in Vegas and there was a robot bar. And it's such a cool concept, but it was empty because people, no matter what you do, people want to engage. Yeah. So the answer to your question, yes, we did roll out a digital format during COVID and we have it now, but we're not taking leaps and bounds forward in the digital era. We're not really pushing our consumers towards an online platform at this point. We're really saying, come back in and see us.
So one of the things we met last year, and I was very impressed with the direction that you were going, because I'd had a lot of people on our podcast, and a lot of the conversations were around not just having the importance of working out, but the recovery side of things. And you've got an interesting model in that space. So tell us a little bit about, one, why did you feel it was something that you were going to sort of really invest quite heavily in developing? And then two, how did you decide to pull that together? Because I guess a little bit unlike fitness equipment where you've got these brands that kind of do everything for you and have strength and cardio, etc. In this space, I understand it's a little bit more kind of fragmented. So why did you do it, and then how did you go about sort of pulling different solutions and vendors together?
A lot of it was selfish reasons. You know, as we, you know, I keep mentioning COVID, and everyone does, but that gave us a chance to kind of pause and reflect at what we were doing. And in 2017 at the URSA show, I started to see some recovery platforms out there. And like everybody else, I got curious about it. I wanted to see what, you know, where is this really going to go? And so we had looked at things like compression therapy, cryotherapy, and red light, but that was where we were in 2018, 2019. Just really studying it. And then when COVID hit that pause button, we had time to take a really deep dive into what are the mental aspects of this? You know, what about mental wellness? We need aesthetics as well. You know, you've probably heard me talk about and say this, it's always been vanity versus vitality for a lot of people. The recovery route has been amazing to us because it's had a lot of people come in that don't work out. And as they start to feel better, they want to move. And then they're actually getting into the gym itself. So, you know, coming out of this COVID era, the one thing that I've paid a lot of attention to is we all have one linear commonality running through us, and that's stress. And it's going to manifest itself either physically or mentally. For most cases, it was both. For me, starting REGYMEN and trying to grow a brand, you know, grow a team and everything else, I was just exceptionally stressed. So I started to study a lot about the effects of hyperbaric. You know, we looked at the things such as dry float, what it does for the mental capabilities. We looked at things like PEMF for pain management. You know, we looked at heavily into aesthetics. We brought things in like hydrofacial. Well, we knew that a lot of women would come in and say, hey, you know, the skin is our biggest organ, obviously. So if they can look a little bit better in that face, by the way, while we're doing a hydrofacial, let's sit on a set of compression pants. These Balancer Pros that do lymphatic drainage. We're gonna literally clear the waste out of your body as we beautify your face. And oh, by the way, let's put an IV in that arm for skin tone, you know, skin consistency. So I think recovery has shown us that there are so many different avenues you can go down. It's not just about the physical recovery. It's about the mental. It's also about the beauty and the aesthetic side.
Yeah, it kind of seems as though it's overlaps like fitness and beauty and kind of a wellness thing altogether.
It does. It's we struggle as gym owners all the time about what's our demographic, what's our message. Recovery has such a large demographic because you're going to have people that come in there that they haven't moved properly in years because of lifestyle. And if you can just start them with one process, let's say with an IV, for example, and think about this. If you were to break your arm today or break your leg, God forbid, and you get put in an ambulance, what's the first thing they do? They pop an IV in that arm. So the IV is the start of healing, but it's only the start. You know, what's cryotherapy going to do for you? If we can make you move better, make you think clearer, everybody around you is going to function better. So we love REGYMEN. We love where it's going in the industry. We see a very clear path with this recovery project we're doing right now. We've got 3 spas open. We've got 7 more in development, and we're taking calls every day about this. And we're a year into it, and we're learning so much. So in short, really, as I kind of ramble here, the reality is this is the convergence of medical and fitness. We're no longer in the business of telling people, work out 7 days a week. We're now in the business of saying, hey, if you're drained mentally, you're drained physically, you know, let's look at your results, whether it's Whoop, Oura Ring, BioStrap. Let's see what the technology is telling us about your body right now. If you're drained, working out isn't what you need to do today. You need to go mentally decompress. Let's get your mind right. Let's get your body rested. Let's sleep properly. Now your results in the gym are going to be tenfold.
Are you going to franchise that, or are you franchising?
We are franchising.
You are?
Yeah. So we started out, like I said, we're about a year old as a brand. We're opening franchises right now in Alabama, Florida. We've got some in Texas. We're getting excited about Nashville's on the way. We've got North Carolina on the way. So we're moving rapidly. It's the team's expanding rapidly. And what's great about this is we were able to take a lot of our REGYMEN team and morph them along with recovery as well. So they're on the recovery side of the project too.
I would have thought, compared to fitness, where the retention is always a lot of work, I would have thought that this type of thing, which is kind of like a consumable that you come in, you have it done, it is easier to retain people because it's not like quite as difficult as going in for a workout. Is that the case, or is that just a...
No, it is the case. And what's really interesting is when you think about the workout, we know we're going to improve people both mentally and physically, but they actually have to do the work. With recovery, when they come in, within 2 minutes or less, I can make you feel 15 to 20 years younger. I mean, imagine coming in even after this show, or as much as you try.
Yeah, I'd love to go and do one of those now.
As a rep, I was on the road 200 plus days a year, and that takes its toll on your body. So the thing is, if you just get in a set of compression pants, you feel like you're walking on air 15 minutes later. You get an IV, suddenly your body's fluid, you're moving again. You do a cryotherapy, you feel like you can jump through a building. So I think what our industry needs to learn about recovery is it's instant gratification. It's actually, we thought fitness people would flock to recovery. And a lot of them understand cryo, but they don't understand red light. They don't understand compression. They don't understand necessarily the IVs. So sometimes fitness people can be a little bit more opinionated about that. Non-fitness people coming into the recovery concept, they automatically want to learn more about how to move and how to get better. So as an industry, we need to look at recovery as it is a retention tool for fitness people coming over, but it's really a lead generator to get more people into a fitness lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of what we first thought it was going to be.
Okay. And my guess is the numbers, as there's probably not as many, and you've got a lot of different solutions, like financially, is if you are, I'm not saying you'd have to choose between the two, but is it, did the numbers stack up? It's a bigger market, there's a regular flow of people, and you've got a number of treatments. Is it something that people should look in from a financial perspective?
They absolutely should, because the thing about what we've done with the recovery model itself is people can get into this for $250,000 or less, all the way to $600,000 and above. And the reality is it all depends on the therapies and treatments you want. But the beauty of this recovery model is if you get started and build your space out smart, you can grow into it over the years. So what we're finding with recovery is it is definitely, you need to keep your value. My one big concern is recovery breaks in the fitness industry are owners charging for it like it deserves to be charged for. I hope we don't see recovery turning to tanning inside of health clubs, for example. But the beauty of the recovery model is you don't have to have 80 or 90 people a day walk through your doors. You're perfectly fine with 15 to 20, and then they'll continue to come back. So it is a high return on investment, and it's a higher price consumable for the customer, but they feel better automatically, so they always come back. Yeah,
and I guess your referrals is a lot. I guess it's good for people to refer others as well on that.
It is. People like to talk about it. And this is, with fitness, it's interesting because a lot of people, I was a personal trainer for 18 years. And a lot of times to get your clients to tell somebody else about you was like a big secret. With recovery, it's not. People walk out and they're like, I got an IV today and I did a red light here. And it's so new, they're excited to talk about it. Okay. So it's something that the fitness space really needs to embrace in these coming years. And you can't half-ass it. You've got to do it right. If you're going to do it, you've got to put the investment in it. And you've got to make it an experience for that member. It really has to be.
One of the things we've been talking about quite a bit here is the challenges around staff retention, and just even getting people in. With this particular business model, is it a certain caliber of person that's able to do those things, and how easy is it to get the people required if you wanted to expand in this area?
If I said it was easy, I'd be lying. It's never easy to find anybody, even for our gyms in general, but we find that we work with a lot of RNs, and getting an RN on staff is fantastic because if you're going to be doing things like IVs and NAD therapy, you have to have that medical presence, obviously. But we find that getting the RNs is actually relatively easy because a lot of them...
Is that registered nurses?
Registered nurses, okay. Yep. A lot of them don't want to work in hospital environments anymore. It's stressful, they're overwhelmed. It's just not the environment you want to be in 36 hours a week. So we have a lot coming over that realize this is a quality of life care. They can move at a little slower pace, and I hate to say it, but they don't have the big medical bureaucracy in their way. Okay. They can actually treat people with outcome-based therapies. Instead of prescribing, medications, we're actually prescribing therapies. There's a great book called Upstream Thinking, and it talks about how in other countries, they spend so much money on prevention, where in America, we're spending all of our money on the cure itself. We're not spending anything on not getting sick. No. And so I really think...
more money in it, I guess. That's why.
That's true. So I really think that what you're going to see in the next 8 to 10 years is the model similar to the recovery and others that are out there that's going to be mainstream healthcare. I really think that's what we're going to see.
Are those registered nurses, do they have a potential to even earn more if they were to come over out of their normal Or is that
They
similar?
do. It's, again, right now, healthcare and pay is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, coming out of COVID, some hospitals were paying double and triple. But as a nurse becomes the manager of it, and you know the way they can get benefits off of the numbers that come into the clinics themselves, they can make the equivalent of what they're making
without all the stuff.
Without all the
with
stuff.
It, yeah.
Plus, they love the therapies. You know, this is you've got to have somebody in here that loves it and really understands it, because the thing that I think the fitness business needs to understand about recovery is there's a big education process around it. It's like everything else. The more we teach people the basics, the more they're in tune to listen to things like PEMF for pain management.
Right.
So the science is there. Social media is starting to put some of it out there. The reality is now we just have to rein it in and say, these are really effective therapies for what you need, and here's an effective route for the outcome you want.
So what's your expansion plans? Are you planning to come to California? I'd like to have one near me, actually.
We do plan to come to California. California is one of the toughest states to get registered to franchise in.
Right.
So that process is going to take us about 18 to 24 months. Expansion-wise, we're already out there. You know, we've gotten a lot of really qualified franchise leads. We're having a lot of medical doctors come over, which is really interesting to us to see doctors want to get in this, because a lot of these doctors are great at being doctors, but they don't have the time to run a business. So they like the idea of this business in a box that they can help control and influence.
Right. And what about internationally? Is there a lot of rules that kind of make that even more challenging in California? Or
It is. I mean, we have, you know, one of the things is you've got to stay inside the legal parameters. There's a lot of gray in this area right now. But as this expands, people are going to have to follow the medical rules that are in every single state. So to answer your question, we would love to go international, but we have to get our hands around all the states right now.
Yeah.
International expansion will come through the form of a partner overseas, somebody that partners with us, runs the system the right way.
Right.
You know, with Regimen, we expanded last year into Canada with Good Life. I think with Recovery, we're probably about 2 years to 3 years away from really seriously looking at that.
Right. So if anyone's listening and they want to, either models, like how do people get in touch with you? We will put the stuff in the
Absolutely.
links, but just for the benefit of the interview.
No problem. So you can go to thecoveryfranchise.com. You can even just go to thecovery.com and click on the franchise. Same thing with Regimen. If you just go to regimenfitness.com, you can click on franchise info, and those leads will bring you to our team. They'll walk you through the whole process. People can always reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. They know I'm all over social with that.
Fantastic. Edward, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.